What's up, Headliner Nation? Welcome back to the Fantasy Headliners. Kyle here with another training camp update, bringing you all the latest news, breaking news, injury updates, everything you need to know to prepare for your fantasy draft coming out of training camp right now. Glad you're all able to hop into this video and check out some of these updates with me. Let's not take too much longer though and discuss what we've got going out there in the world of football today. And the first update is from David Montgomery. We're finally getting an idea of what's going to be happening with him. Report right now is that he is out 2 to 4 weeks with a grade 2 groin injury. So right now, as of right now, and some of this is coming from Dr. Ethan Turner here at the Fantasy Headliners. He tweeted a little bit ago about what we've got going on there. But the report is right now 2 to 4 weeks, and he could still possibly be back by week 1. Now, would that be pushing it a little bit? It would be. It would be rushing it just a little bit too much. And whenever you rush an injury like this, there's always the possibility of re-injury. So the last thing that you want to do with David Montgomery, who's supposed to be your starting running back, is to rush him back, and instead of losing him for 2 to 4 weeks, and maybe he only misses the first couple of weeks of the season, you try to get him back week 1, he re-injures himself, and now you're missing him for several weeks over the next few games. So you don't want to push anything like this real quickly. Now, if you're getting ready to draft, I mentioned yesterday that, if you could get him in like the 6th or 7th round, that's not bad. I'm still going to probably stay on that train. If you've got 2 solid running backs already, and you're going to grab David Montgomery to be your running back 3, or even possibly a running back 4, anywhere from around 6 to 8, I'm still okay with that. If there's nobody there that you're really super interested in, a lot of people are going to panic on David Montgomery, and they're not going to draft him now, or they're going to try to let him fall as much as possible, because there is still a possibility he's going to be back. He's not dealing with any kind of a tear. He's not going to miss half the season or anything like that, because as of right now, he could be back. I don't want to let him drop too far, because when he does get back, he'll still be the guy in Chicago to get a majority of the touches. Now, if you've already drafted and you don't have Tariq Cohen, go get him right away. I don't expect any huge free agent signing now from the Chicago Bears. I don't expect any type of a trade unless this injury, again, they're saying 2 to 4 weeks, unless they think it could end up being longer over the next couple of weeks if he's not healing up properly. Then yeah, maybe at that point then they go and get somebody. But as of right now, I think that maybe they bring somebody in, or just run with Ryan Nall, who's one of their running backs, and again, Tariq Cohen. What about Joe Mixon? I love me some Joe Mixon, but I get the question quite a bit now, what's going on with him? And today only kind of helped propel those questions up, because he was not seen at training camp today. Now, this morning, when he was originally not seen, people started to make the assumption, here comes the holdout. The one thing about Joe Mixon is that he is a guy, and all the beat reporters said this, that he is a guy that's consistently working out. Even if he takes a day off, for rest, or if he's just dealing with a small injury and they just want to give him an extra day, he's always on the sidelines doing something. He's helping the team out. He's with the team. He's maybe doing wind sprints, something like that. He's always doing something around camp. He's an extremely hard worker that you don't see just sitting around or staying within the building. Today, though, they recognize that he wasn't out there anywhere. So again, those reports start to pop up that he's holding out. However, Tom Pelissero from NFL.com, not MLB.com, wrong sport, NFL.com, reports that he's actually suffering from migraines right now, and the hope is that he'll be back with the team soon. Now, that was not from head coach Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor, was one that also said, he's dealing with some stuff. He'll be back out there soon. He's not holding out. But Tom Pelissero also saying the same thing right now. This is not a holdout. He's suffering from migraines. That's what his sources tell him. He will be back soon. So continue to eye that. Me personally, I'm not skipping on Joe Mixon. Yes, he's talked about holding out, but I absolutely believe in some point in time the Bengals are going to get a deal done with Joe Mixon, because they're going to have more than enough cap room to do that over the next couple of years, because they can sign him right now because they've got their quarterback of the future, Joe Burrow, who's going to be under his rookie contract for a few years. And by the time Mixon's contract would come up, Joe Burrow would be looking for that extension. So this actually probably fits in a pretty good timeline that they'll get something done. And I do believe they end up getting something done as well. One that nobody saw coming, Kalen Ballage, going from the Miami Dolphins to the New York Jets. Adam Gase once again proving to himself that Bill O'Brien is not the worst head coach in the NFL. So they go out and they get Kalen Ballage. I'm not exactly sure why. They ended up acquiring him for a conditional late round pick, but Miami was set to release him. They were going to just let him go, and then the Jets jump in and say, yo, hold on a second. Let me give you something here real fast, okay? Because even though you've got all that trash packed up, okay? I see that. I see you've got your trash packed up there, but I know for a fact that that box of cereal in there still has just a little bit in the bottom. You know what? Even though you're going to throw that away, let me give you $1 real quick. Let me give you a quick $1. I'm going to take that off of your hands, and I may or may not eat it. We'll see what happens, okay? That's basically what the Jets have done at this point. Is he going to end up stealing touches from Bell? I would probably assume not, but all of the friction that we've seen between Bell and Adam Gase so far isn't really boding well that, this is going to be a guy that they want to rely on. We've heard time and time again that they want to trade him. They don't seem happy with each other. The exchanges on social media. At this point, you never know what could end up happening. So just keep your ears and eyes open with this situation if you are a Le'Veon Bell owner. But you probably shouldn't be, because if you're a part of Headliner Nation, we've been telling you for months, don't do it. Do not draft Le'Veon Bell. Now, this is a move, or this is not really a move, but this is an injury that may go a little bit under the radar. But Andre Dillard from the Philadelphia Eagles is out for the year with a torn biceps. The Philadelphia Eagles now have lost their left guard and left tackle over the last couple of months. This is not good for Miles Sanders, okay? I know we like Miles Sanders. I like Miles Sanders, okay? Nothing against Miles Sanders. But when you lose your starting left tackle and left guard over the course of the last couple of months, it's a big hit. And they brought Peters back, and Peter was going to play left guard. Now he's going to scoot back out to left tackle. Does he still have it? Can he be the Peters of old that we've seen, okay? That's going to be a big question mark there. If that left side of the offensive line is a weak point for this team, that is going to cause issues for Sanders and Wentz both. Okay, so hopefully they don't suffer any more injuries at this point. But honestly, this situation is looking a lot like Joe Mixon's situation last year. They have some offensive linemen that go down with an injury. Now, at that point, to begin the season, you've got new offensive linemen working together. You've got to build that chemistry. You've got to build those reps together. Now you don't even have really those reps in game situations. So they're not getting any preseason reps right now with some of these guys that are trying to fill in on the offensive line. So it is a little concerning with this. So keep your eyes and ears open again on Miles Sanders. Right now, like I've said before, I'm kind of letting him slip into the second round right now if I can get him. Don't really want to get him in like the mid to late first. If he can drop a little bit more and I've already got a stud running back, then I'm okay with it. One guy that's still around that you are probably surprised about at this point is former first-round pick Kevin White. Chicago Bears took Kevin White out of West Virginia a few years ago in the first round, and he never did anything. He's still around, and today he signs a one-year deal with the 49ers because after multiple injuries to their wide receivers, they have got plenty of opportunities for guys to come in and help out. Now, this is going to be a depth signing. As soon as Debo's back and healthy, as soon as Ayuk is back and healthy, Kevin White is going to be an afterthought for the 49ers. So I'm not worried about this too much, and I honestly don't think it signals anything too wrong with Ayuk or Debo because this is, again, just a depth signing. They just went out and got a body to put in there that can help take some reps. Now, the depth is low enough at wide receiver that if we get to week one and Debo's not back yet, yeah, Kevin White could see significant snaps in week one. He could be on the field, so make no doubt about it. Kevin White could end up playing, but he's not a guy that don't get tricky. Don't try to outsmart people. Don't go draft Kevin White. Reason I'm bringing it up is just because there are concerns, hey, they're signing Kevin White. They actually signed somebody else as well, another wide receiver. What does that mean for Ayuk and Debo? For me right now, it means nothing. They just didn't have the depth at wide receiver, and they needed to add somebody. That's what Kevin White is going to be. Last news story today, Logan Thomas for the Washington football team. Looking like he's going to be the tight end one for them. Now, he's performed well so far as the tight end one in camp. And maybe you don't know this about Logan Thomas, but he's a former quarterback at Virginia Tech. He's got that athleticism that he can make the move from quarterback out to tight end. And this is a transition that's been worked on. It's not like all of a sudden, snap your fingers, he's going out to tight end. This is something he's been working on. But he's an athletic dude. He's a guy that can make some plays after the catch. He's got a little bit of speed. He can run well. So, keep an eye on him. This is, not a draft pick that I'm making at this point. But if you play in deeper leagues, he needs to be on your watch list. If you're over on Patreon, I did a video today, actually, about what you do after the draft, how you prepare your team after the draft, and I talked about setting up your watch list and what you should do with that. Logan Thomas is just a guy that, maybe slip on there if you play in deeper leagues, because if he does end up playing well, he could end up being a guy that, Dwayne Haskins checks down to quite often. So, again, I don't think he's going to be a tight end one. I don't think he's going to be a consistent performer. But in deeper leagues, he is a guy to keep an eye on for potential playing time throughout the year. There you have it, Headliner Nation. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Fantasy Headliners. 4 things. Number 1, hit that like button. If you appreciate the content, make sure you let us know by hitting that like button. Number 2, any training camp updates you're looking at, leave a comment down below. Number 3, subscribe to the Fantasy Headliners. Become a part of Headliner Nation today and help us on the road to 100,000 subscribers. And number 4, make sure you get your Fantasy Headliners Fantasy Football Draft Guide today. TheFantasyHeadliners.com. Over 600 pages of pure fantasy football content. You can get it for $19.99. Headliner Nation, thanks so much for tuning into this video. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.